I'd like to call the meeting to order for Cascade Charter Township Planning Commission meeting on Monday, March 16th, 2026. Article 2, I'd like to everybody stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What's that?
Missed attendance.
Oh yeah, I always forget attendance.
Everybody's here.
That's record attendance. Everybody's attendant here. All right, Article 3, approve the current agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, I have a motion to approve, seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Article 4, disclose any conflict of interest.
None.
Other than probably all of us shopping at both of these places. None.
Could be.
Let's see. Article 5, approve the minutes of March 2nd, 2026.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll support that one.
All right, we have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Article 6, acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak on the first case and the last case. We have a public hearing. So if you're here to speak on Costco or the data centers, we are going to open it up to public hearing. If you're here to speak on anything else or the Harvest Health and you're not the applicant, this is the time. Okay, anybody? Nope, nobody online. Okay. Article 7, case number 26-3912, Costco wholesale.
All right, so like you said, next up we have case number 26-3912, and this is going to be a request from Costco Wholesale for an amendment to the Waterfall Shops PUD, which was originally established with Ordinance number 8 of 2004. The applicant is seeking to expand the existing fuel facility and reconfigure the surrounding site. Subject property is located at 5100 28th Street. As you can see on the map, the fuel station is situated in the northwest portion of the Costco site, adjacent to the main Costco warehouse building. In their submitted narrative, the applicant describes the purpose of the expansion request as looking to improve Costco members' fuel purchasing experience by increasing the processing capacity for the fuel facility and reducing queues. The plan includes increasing the number of fueling dispensers by 6, as well as adding a 40,000-gallon premium underground storage tank to help accommodate that increase in demand. One key component of this plan is the reconfiguration of the access points. Currently, the main exit is at the southwest corner. The applicant is proposing moving this to the northwest corner of the fuel facility. No concerns over the egress point were raised by the township engineer in his review. And while the proposed exit point is on a slight curve, it does divert fuel facility traffic away from the primary traffic lane and pedestrian crossings. So staff have found that the relocation of the exit from the south to the north does not create any significant concerns. In terms of compliance with parking requirements, the plans result in a net gain of 1 parking space within this portion of the lot. For reference, a minimum of 584 parking spaces are required per the zoning ordinance calculation, with a maximum of 752. This would put them at 745 parking spaces, so it would be compliant with the zoning ordinance. Following staff feedback, the applicant has also added an additional crosswalk. As you can see on this site plan, connects this portion of the site to the sidewalk to the south. There will continue to be one-way circulation within the fuel facility with a bypass lane between each dispenser and 28 feet between each dispenser as well. The plans were reviewed by the fire department. No issues were raised regarding emergency vehicle access as a result of this reconfiguration. Taking a look here at the elevations for the canopy, For automobile service stations, the special use standards require the canopy use similar and compatible materials to that of the primary building. The canopy will continue to do so and remains consistent with this requirement of the underlying zoning. Regarding signage, the applicant is also requesting a text amendment as a part of their request to allow for 4 signs on the fuel canopy, 1 on each elevation, where the current PUD text restricts it to only 2. It should be noted that the signage being proposed is currently existent on site. The canopy has had 4 signs, 1 on each elevation. Staff was not able to find record of when this occurred. Streetscape images from 2016 show that there were 4 total signs, but there's been no building permit or PUD amendment to allow for such. So in 2025, a building permit was approved to replace the existing 4 signs on all elevations. So in order for the applicant to replace the existing signage on all 4 elevations with this request, a PUD language must be amended as well. So that is why a text amendment is being requested. And so with the requested text amendment being consistent with the signage as it has existed for over 10 years and the property zone PUD, staff does not object to the proposed amendment. However, the Planning Commission should deliberate on whether they find the current signage is appropriate for the site. Looking out the landscaping plan, new plantings will be installed to provide a buffer for the new utility components, including a transformer and injection system. With this being a PUD, the required landscaping for the site is determined by the approved site plan, which is cited in the PUD ordinance. 16 trees will be removed for construction. The amended landscaping plan proposes replanting all 16 trees at this portion of the site. Staff does find this to be compliant, and the plans do provide a 20-foot perimeter buffer with a 3-foot high berm, which also meets the requirements of the underlying zoning. The site will also remain compliant with the internal parking landscape area of the zoning ordinance as well. Overall, staff has reviewed this against the standards of section 16.03 of the zoning ordinance and find it to be consistent with these standards. Some key items for deliberation and consideration by the Planning Commission include the movement of the egress point, the landscape screening and buffer, and whether the signage currently existing on the canopy is appropriate for the site. So the staff recommendation is to recommend approval of the PUD amendment with the draft motion for this recommendation included in your packet. And with that, I will turn it back over to you guys. If you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Go ahead, because I got one too, and it's probably the same.
Correct. So let me pull it up here. So the new one is here. Yeah, let's see my cursor here. So this is where the new one's being proposed. This would be an exit only. Currently, the exit is to the south, right about here.
How much more traffic is going to be?
It should be one-way traffic going out, right?
It is currently one-way traffic going out as well.
Target. Well, one thing. Oh,
No, because this is Arby's right here.
This way up. This is Costco. If you follow all this all the way down here,
It goes to Dick's. Yeah.
Target.
Yeah.
Nobody drives. So Raceway.
Yeah. Did you have something?
No.
Yeah, go ahead. So.
I think it's great to get more pumps because I've seen the lines that go out of there.
It's like 1980s Jimmy Carter era.
Yeah, but I do have a concern. Because this is, I think, a major concern because you're moving it out. Where are all the cars that are going to be waiting in line because it still will happen? It's going to be like, where are they going to go? So what's going to happen is, and then you're going to end up having to go out in the parking lot, and then you could actually pull into the street because there's no room to park the car. And the reason why I know this is because I go to the one in Louisville, Kentucky, which is very much like this. And on a Saturday, the difference is that you can go behind Costco and pull into the pumps.
Is this a question for staff or is this more okay?
How are they going to address the additional traffic? Because my point about Louisville is that they have this configuration, but on a Saturday, the line is so long, but the difference is it goes this direction. So the cars are actually behind Costco to drive into the gas station. If you're going to go in this way, are they gonna be out in the street trying to get in? Because some people say, I just drive ahead.
Did we look at that at all on staff?
Are you
Did
saying as far as entering the northwest portion, that would be exit only?
No,
from the
so
fuel?
he's saying,
You're talking from
coming in from the east portion.
from the east.
Enough room for 5 cars now on the line to get into the current line. So you're taking out another 2 rows of cars, you're gonna still have people waiting to get to the pumps. Where are those cars gonna be waiting? They're gonna be out in the parking lot into the street?
So our township engineer did review it. He did not have any major concerns with it. My guess would be yes, the queuing would take place. Get my cursor back here. Oh, I can't get up there, but
Wouldn't the additional pumps though have? Yeah. Wouldn't the additional pumps? I'll wait till they finish talking. Wouldn't the additional pumps allow for more cars to go through faster? So there's going to be less cars in line. It wouldn't be as much congestion. You don't?
Because what happens on that is that
I
people who want to wait are going to wait. I'm not going to wait. I'll come back late.
I think we talk about this during our deliberation. I mean, if it's a question for staff, then we ask them that. But
yeah, likely the queuing would take place down towards the main traffic lane in front of the Costco wholesale building itself.
Okay.
So I guess the other question I had would be smarter to reverse it and actually have it open on the west side and then you exit on the east side?
One advantage I would say for this layout is that the exit is diverting traffic away from your main traffic lane to the south there. So I mean, if you did flip it, the exit traffic would be going into where the crossing currently is and the main point of traffic there in front of the building. So. Sure. And the main entrance will remain the same location as a part of this. The main switch is going to be the exit.
Okay.
Which way do people come in from now?
Well, they're coming from the east now. They theoretically are supposed to exit down here. But
either the north
still,
or the south.
Yeah.
On the east side.
Oh, it's the west. That is.
What?
And I would suggest too, the applicant is here and can clarify some of that as well.
Right. We can ask that. All right.
Yeah.
I do. And we can talk about that more when what are the options that we have for signage?
So, option wise, if you approve the request as it's written within their PUD draft ordinance they've submitted, that would allow for signage on all 4 elevations. If the planning commission doesn't find that to be appropriate, that could be removed from their request and it would remain 2 elevations that would be permitted. If that were the case, they would not be able to reinstall all 4 signs that currently exist. It would just be on the north and west elevations that would be permitted. So those are 2 options there.
Okay.
They do currently have 4. Again, we couldn't verify when that happened. It's possible that it was when it was originally built that 4 signs were put up. But we know at least as far back as 2016 is where we have some images of it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for staff? Okay. Is the applicant here? Would you like to come up and please state your name and address for the record?
Absolutely. My name is Josh Beach. Work for Core States Group. Address is 18215 72nd Avenue, Kent, Washington.
Thank you.
I appreciate you deliberating and taking some time for us tonight. So like I said, my name is Josh Beach. I work for Core States Group. I have some colleagues here with me. Julie Anderson, also from Core States Group, is also a senior planner. We have Kayleen Burnett from Costco and Barbara Mosier from Kittleson, who is our traffic engineer. And so I'm happy to answer any of the questions you have, but if you have traffic, it sounds like that's going to be heavy on the questions. Barbara would be the best one to answer any traffic related questions. I'm happy to answer any other questions you have on the project.
Is there a big concern about going to 2 signs over 4?
We'd prefer the 4 signs, obviously. Just as a standard that we have in terms of Costco's nationwide, but it's not a hill we're going to die on.
Okay.
So,
because you realize one side's facing the cemetery, and those people generally don't need gas anymore, and then the other side is facing the store, and they already know the gas is there.
yeah, again, I'm with you.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
I can call Barbara up here if you've got questions
else have any non-traffic questions
No.
about how long is the project going to take?
I don't actually know if we have a schedule at the moment for the
Just curious.
duration, but ideally the understanding, or at least what we typically do, is we try to keep the facility open.
Okay.
And have construction overnight.
Okay.
Is the ideal. So that way you can keep folks getting fuel during the day and work on the construction when no one's trying to get gas.
Okay.
So
the tank, you're putting in a new tank. Are you guys taking out the old tanks?
no, they'll stay. Yep. And we'll add one 40,000 gallon tank, which is bigger than the tanks that are there now. So
you're going to put in a new tank and just disconnect the other ones.
no, they'll stay.
You're just adding to it. So you're
yep.
daisy chaining them.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So and ideally the idea is that you need fewer fills from the tanker trucks.
Sure.
Also. Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those of you, the reason that I asked that is we had on the corner of Thornapple, River Drive, and Cascade, we had a gas station there. And they left the tanks there, and we had to spend a ton of money to rip the tanks up and clean up EPA, all that good stuff. So that's why I was asking if we're just leaving the tanks, but he's daisy chaining them so they're still in use. So that's okay. Right. So does anybody else have any other questions? Okay.
Great.
If we'll get our traffic expert up, which you're a day early on your green. Just saying. All week, yeah.
Right. It's a real commitment.
Right. Just state your name and address again for the record.
Barbara Mosier from Kittleson and Associates, 1 East Pratt Street, Baltimore, Maryland.
Perfect. Thank you.
So should I just generally address what the concerns I heard, or do you have specific questions?
I think the main question he was asking, which looking at it and being a regular Costco shopper, not a gas station person, flipping the way you come in and the way you go out, why was that not?
So I think I would assume the answer is because the way the existing pumps and canopy is set up, we can add on to it this way without having to rip everything out and completely redo it, as opposed to if we flipped it, we would need to reconstruct completely.
But why? Like most gas stations, you can come and go either way. So why can't you just flip the way that people come up to it? Because when you come
we
up
need
there,
the queuing on the approach side.
yeah, but
I would say, where I call it the captain's hut is?
Sorry, say that again.
Captain's hut.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Come in that direction. That way, if it's a long line of traffic, they can actually go behind Costco and drive in and then come out on the east side instead of going in on the east and coming out on the west side.
I understand what you're saying. It's because there's not enough lane over there. But what if you took out the whatever? Oh, you are on that. The berm area and the parking on, because nobody's really parking back over on that side. And you had them, you take out the way right now it says do not enter. You took that out and had them come a little further and made a new ingress. What's the right word?
Ingress. Yeah, that's correct.
On that side. And you kind of queued them up that way, getting rid of that parking on the west side.
So this may be a Josh question, and that is there's
He can come up
physical. Would you like to come keep me company?
We allow more than one up there.
Yeah.
Like that they're in terms of feasibility of where we're going to put what. I think just so that we are all on the same page in terms of the queuing. So Kittleson maintains a database of Costco trip generation and queuing data for gas expansions and new warehouses nationwide. It's very extensive. What we have found is that with gas expansions like this, the queue does get shorter. So even though there are more pumps and potentially there could be more people going there, we have found consistently that when the gas is expanded from 12 to 24 or from 12 to whatever it is being expanded to, the queues generally do get a lot shorter. So we do expect there to be less queuing spilling out. I think the other thing that is a possibility, just in terms of keeping people out of the road, is that we do have space within the site here that if we need to, put cones up and do some sort of temporary traffic management during peak times, like during Saturday middays, if it just starts to get really crazy, Costco does have the ability to, close off the top entrance and bring everyone down into the site and then bring them back up, as opposed to having them just queue up out on the road.
Wouldn't that be more of a hazard for people walking in the parking lot to go to the store, having all these cars rerouted?
It wouldn't be ideal. I mean, but that's what the point of the expansion is to bring those queues down so we don't have to do that.
No, I understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I got the experience with your Louisville store. And I wanted to get gas on Saturday. The line was long, but I actually parked behind Costco. So and then you pulled up and you pulled in. And the line, I was like 6 cars back.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, then if you're gonna have 5 or 6 cars, even with the new 3 pumps, or 6 pumps, won't the traffic end up being out on the road between Costco and the shopping center?
Is it currently out that far?
Well, the traffic lines up right out there on the
Where they
edge of it.
out to here.
Did you guys see where I drew the red line on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is there do those spots get used a lot? And if not,
Yes.
is it do they?
Yeah.
As I'm saying, is it feasible to take out 8 spots?
They're like front row to get into the
Yeah.
front.
Those are Frank Costanza spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that we're talking about, Alan, is the ones on the west side over by the, excuse me, by the
There's
cemetery.
utilities.
Touch it
Okay.
and draw a line.
Right here. This is.
He doesn't.
You don't have that?
Mine- I don't
Yeah, that's
have-
what I was-
Are you talking here?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
on
No,
the-
no, the other side.
This side.
Yeah, like taking them out
Okay.
and having
Yeah,
them
because
come in that
right
way.
now, there's
And what would taking those, I guess we can talk about that during
Yeah.
deliberation, but
the only thing was on there was a front loader out there, and there was also a container on that area, and 1 parking car. It's probably the guy who's manning the warming hut and the station.
How many
I hardly ever
cars?
see cars.
How many cars can queue up?
that's a
This
good
is gonna be a
question.
weird question. To the east, currently, the way those lanes are set up, how many cars can queue up in there without being in the way?
In the existing condition or the
Yeah,
proposed?
in per pump.
Per pump.
Behind the pump.
Because that's the key. If they changed it around and flipped it the opposite way, there's no room to queue up those cars as many. If 5 can do it now, you're not going to get that many cars queuing up that way because you just don't have the room. And that's what she was saying, that
Yeah.
currently the layout of the gas station has the pumps on this side, so all the queuing up goes this way. So if you have 5 times however many pump stations or whatever, pump islands, that's where all your queuing goes and where your extra cars are sitting. And if you flip it the other way, you won't physically, there's not enough room there to do a new queuing lanes that are that long.
Exactly. yeah.
Correct.
Yep. And it's about 5 cars worth of queuing space in the existing condition.
What?
It is about 5 cars right now.
Yeah, and right now, if you look at it, if that's the scale, you can maybe get 1 car on the outside of the pumps.
Of the other way.
Oh, the
That's
other-
why I
yes,
think
yeah.
she has.
Yeah,
to-
on the
they have
exit
to-
side.
Yeah.
On the entrance side going right now.
No, that's what she's saying. The way this
Okay,
is set up, there's room for 5 cars to queue within every pump island.
In every lane, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
Okay, because there's 5 cars that wait now to get to the 2 pumps that are available now. So if you could take that out, I mean, it's tight with 5 cars.
Well, in the future condition, there would be 1 less row of cars because that's where the new pumps would go.
Well, I love the idea of having more pumps. I'm just concerned about people that walk to their cars with their carts and all that, and the people now are gonna have to wait into the actual parking spaces and blocking those out to go into the gas station, unless they park on the street. Or wait on the street, not park.
Yeah.
Wait on the street to get to a pump, especially on Saturdays, and it's even worse during the holidays, like spring break and all that. That line gets pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, so certainly we can think about how we would manage that queue specifically during those times. But our database does show that with the 24 pump expansion, we would have sufficient queuing space for the max queue we'd anticipate to see during the Saturday peak hour.
And I do like the do not enter on the west side, because that's how I come in.
Well, that's how everybody comes in.
The minor 5 times I've ever used the gas pump, the millions of times I go to Costco.
I guess my question, the other question I would have too, is if you're using more gas pumps, are you going to see increased traffic? If you're going to see increased traffic, the exit doesn't have a light there,
Don't go anywhere.
and that's busy, turning onto 28th Street, especially if you're going to turn left out of there. No?
No.
Okay. I never go out that way.
Yeah, everybody does, and they turn left.
Do they?
Yeah. There's a big
Okay.
sign that says you can't do it. But I think she said though, and I do think Costco does have an attendant there that would be managing this, that if the lines got too long, they would put cones through there and mandate people to go through a different way, which presents a different problem because it presents getting into the store issues, but that's not part of our problem.
Well, and if I may,
Mhm.
the Costco's aware of the queuing. That's the whole reason we're here
Yeah.
tonight. We're trying to alleviate that, and I think Costco could do any number of things with this, but in terms of managing it and increasing it and getting the queues down, this seemed like the best solution. Is just to add on to the existing infrastructure rather than tearing it out and moving it even slightly. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that's possible. We could shift everything to the east a little bit and have it go the other way. I don't know that would necessarily solve some of the concerns, if that makes sense, right? It when it comes down to it, Kittleson has tons of data on queuing, and I mean Barb can elaborate further if we need to, but they look at these all over the country, and so they know.
Yeah, we've been gathering the data for about, and I say we, I mean the company. I haven't been there that long, but Kittleson has been gathering Costco, like specifically for Costco, not just warehouse stores in general, but Costco trip generation and gas queuing information for about 25 years now. So it's a lot of data. If you're familiar at all with like the IT trip generation manual, that's like the usual approach for trip generation. It dozens of times more data points than what they have for a similar use.
And this was their best solution based on the data you have.
Well,
I'm asking.
and cost effective. Right.
All those things
I'm
are considered, right? I mean, you look at
Yeah.
costs and the solutions that we have in front of us. This seemed like it made the most sense. Obviously, if queues got exorbitantly long, then we look at a different solution.
Right. I mean, there's definitely sites that Kittleson has worked with Costco on to come up with queue management solutions, but almost always part of the solution is just putting in pumps so there's less queuing.
So simple data
Mhm.
is that currently this is going to add an additional 5 per island queue lanes or queue cars that can go in, right? 5.
There's 6 new pumps.
6 new pumps.
which is 12 new fueling positions.
Okay.
If that makes
So
sense.
how many lanes then I'm just trying to get to some
And
simple
that's
data.
double. That's double.
Correct.
I mean,
Okay.
I think that's the
6
key.
pumps.
Double the amount of people can be physically pumping gas at the same time.
Which that's the way I understood it, which made total
Capacity
sense to
itself.
me.
Yes.
You're adding that much capacity,
Yeah. And
then it's go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry. Well, and the trip data that goes with that, we do not anticipate double the amount of people getting gas.
Right.
That was my question. Like
Yeah.
with the lower lines, are you going to increase your?
There will be some, I mean, the same way that, you mentioned a lot of people are like, oh, I would get gas, but those people
Right.
will now get gas.
Right.
I'm gonna
Um,
probably get gas more often now because the line's not gonna be as long.
Right.
Right.
My-
So yes, we
my
do,
5
but
times might
the
increase.
data curve on trips per fueling positions is pretty flat for trips. And then the queuing drops.
What about price fluctuation?
Well, that's
Right.
yeah, unfortunately, we can't predict or control that. I wish.
Gasoline just went up 30 cents. Woo, everybody's bet Costco or Walmart
Yeah.
or Sam's, whatever.
Does anybody have any other questions for the?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Appreciate it. All right.
What's the distance between the pumps?
It was in there.
These, I know you guys gave me the number, but is it the same distance? So it's very narrow, right?
So it's and I always get this backwards. It's 28 feet and 34 feet are the dimensions. So you're
Of the 28 feet, so 14 feet on either side, from where to where?
from the center of the pump.
I got you.
Yeah.
How much room does that give a person, a vehicle?
There's
3 cars.
yeah, so it's 3 cars wide, so you can drive easily in the escape lane, which is what we call that, right? So you could have a car, the escape lane, and a car pumping.
Pretty narrow though, right? It's like, I remember going in there a couple of times, not being a whole lot of room.
Well, no one's going 50 miles an hour through there, hopefully, but
I'm
But-
talking about getting out of the truck and putting some gas in the car. There's not a whole lot of room between where I get out of the truck and the pump usually.
no, there's
Should be now.
There's-
He's
there's
saying
plenty
it
of
should
room.
be 3
Yeah.
cars across now. I mean, a big F-350
Yeah.
might not be maybe 2.5 of those, but
So it's better than it is now?
well, so my understanding is that even 3 of the existing pumps are going to be shifted a little bit to widen the space.
Right on, that's all I wanted.
So
Because it's narrow.
To get up, so when the person in front leaves, you can sneak.
yeah, you can sneak out.
Yeah, I know, so you can't get through.
Yeah.
Well, I own it.
I like it. Any other questions I can answer?
Anyone else? No.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
I'll make a motion to go to public hearing.
Support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. So this open to public hearing. So if anybody wants to, for or against, this is the Costco expansion. This is the time to do it. Okay. Nobody online. Okay. Good. All right. Make a motion to close public hearing.
Support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Discussion.
Well, I don't want to stand in the way with it, but having the experience I had in Louisville, knowing that even on a Saturday, they have all the pumps they're talking about. And I still had to start behind Costco, about 4 to 5 cars to get in. And there's only enough room, it looks like to me, for one additional row of cars before you get to the pumps. So if you're after that, because it's tight to get in there from the drawing, and then you're gonna be out on the street. And I'm more concerned about some of the people with their carts and all that, and have to deal with cars, and somebody says, oh, I give up, and they cut through.
Mhm.
If they gave up, they had to go through the middle lane to get out. They didn't have to back up out on the street or something like that. That's my only concern. Other than that, I think it's great.
Any other, do you have a suggestion or a proposal of a different way to, I mean, going in the other direction, I would think you'd have the same problem, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I
Because
think
going
it might-
behind Costco again and then pulling in.
But I almost think it might be worse because you don't have the queuing at the pumps, where this way you have the actual pump queuing at the pumps. And the other piece of it is, I know you keep talking about Louisville, but we have data from here and the current state. And unless our current state gets crazily worse, I think that we're going to be okay, because currently we don't have people waiting in line. I mean, this is the same footprint of where it is now, and we currently don't have people waiting out in the street to get in there. So,
Yeah.
well, we've got double the pumps now.
If you change the entrance, you'd screw everybody up because everybody's so used to doing everything. You know,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Work, everybody drives to work the same day.
That's a good point.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, Robert. I just, what's the alter? I mean, if you have them come in the other way, do you think that would?
Well, that was just a suggestion, or take out the parking spaces right there, so you can swing right into the slots, because they're under the maximum you have to have a parking space.
Yeah, I mean,
They're way over the minimum.
Yeah.
But depending on holiday season, the whole lot is packed, so losing 24 spaces might not be the best thing to do either. The only thing I'm concerned, that's the only concern.
Yeah.
Because if you also look at the map, there's only room for one car to come through on the very last one. And if there's other people waiting on the other pumps, then you're gonna have to come all the way around to go the other direction to get in. So are you gonna create more traffic concerns with people walking to their cars?
or do you think maybe if there's a line that people will just say, I'll just get gas next time,
I
or?
don't know, people that they already have lines now. I just don't need to, I'm 5 minutes from there. So
Yeah.
you can always come back at 8 o'clock at night, nobody's there.
Louisville,
The local store is no bigger than our store.
5 minutes away from Louisville.
What's that?
So you're 5 minutes away.
No, he's 5 minutes away from me.
I'm 5 minutes away from this.
Don't rile him up. No.
I may be hours away from the one I'm local. I would wait for that.
I just drove by there last night.
So I hear you, Robert, and I think raising a public safety concern is a legitimate concern, but I don't know what our ability is to analyze that other than anecdotally here. Like, hey, I've been there and I've seen these lines, or I've seen these lines in Louisville. So I just don't know how to address that. We have them here saying they expect us to decrease traffic. I don't think it's really, I wouldn't be in favor of telling them they have to like rip everything up and totally redesign it without like some major data. I know in our report, it does say no concerns over the egress point were raised by the township engineer. I don't know if that's implying that they were actually looked at by the township engineer or not.
Or if they just looked at the egress and didn't look at the ingress, because that's what you're talking about is the ingress, the coming in, not the going out.
Yeah, the going out's great. It should have been that way anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm generally not a guy to be like, well, maybe we just need more information or to have somebody else look at this. But to me, I don't know how strongly you feel about that, but to address your concern, I would say, well, is that something, we have staff and engineer look at and address to satisfy a concern or not? I mean, I wouldn't be inclined to do that personally.
Staff would have looked at both.
Both.
Wouldn't they? They wouldn't
That's
have looked at just the egress. They would have looked at the traffic as well, correct?
Yeah, our engineer didn't do like a super in-depth look at the traffic side of things, but he looked over the plans at a whole. So yes, he would have looked at both.
Okay. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Robert. I don't disagree. I just don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be an issue. I don't know. None of us do, right? I don't know.
And sometimes we have to trust
Yeah.
the data.
Yeah, trust the data. I don't like I don't like 4 signs. I'd like to go back down to 2. I'm not willing to put a text in the amendment. Certainly not. And quite frankly, they don't.
Less because they already have them, but if
Right.
that's fine.
And what's your reservation there?
Well, first of all, again, you don't need them, right? And you're having 4 signs. You don't really need 4 signs. I don't really think you need any signs. I think everybody knows, right? But again, you've got 1 sign facing the warehouse building, which nobody's really going to see, and you have the other sign facing the cemetery, which they're not going to see either.
No, so I don't disagree with that. To me, it's not a very, I don't have a strong opinion on it other than my reviews seem to indicate that it's like the PUD ordinance that would limit it to 2 signs, but that the service station ordinance would allow 4 signs. I mean, the gas station right across the street on 28th Street in Cascade Township on all 4 sides of the awning, as far as I could tell, had
Does
a
it?
sign. At least 3 sides, I thought, when I drove by. So I don't know. To me, it's like, well, if that's what all the gas stations in the township have, like, I personally don't know, like, why.
Nobody's complaining.
Are we setting a precedent?
No, I wouldn't think so, not with Costco.
I'm not saying with Costco. I'm saying with every
I think
gas
it-
station
yeah,
that comes
and
down.
I think it already has, because I mean, if I was a gas station that wasn't allowed, I'd go take pictures of their 4 and say you're allowing them here, and they have been for at least 10 years. So to me, they're already there.
Is there a chance to rein it back in, right? You start with, hey, you're doing it in a gas station, great. We're gonna go back down to 2 signs.
But 4 signs are allowed per the zoning, correct?
So the zoning doesn't specifically touch on the canopies for fuel facility stations. Within fuel facility stations in the underlying zoning would be a special use. So it would go under the requirements of the B1 zoning in our sign ordinance. There's no specific language on it, so we would probably lump it in with wall signs, which is typically 1 per building. This isn't a PUD, so that doesn't necessarily apply with it being a planning and development. Whatever the ordinance says would be the requirement. So in this case, it's 2, unless the planning commission decided to change that per the request.
I don't have a problem with the 4 signs. Considering where they are.
It's not my hill to die on.
I mean, I know, I just,
If it's your hill.
it's not,
you
I don't
can have it.
know, it's my hill, right?
I don't have a problem with the 4 signs either. They've had them for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that was my reaction to it too. I was trying to check out some gas stations when I was driving around too. It does seem to be pretty standard. That, I mean, they're not like these giant like
Right.
signs.
There are
you
at
know.
least 3 that you can see.
Well, Sitco is 4-side.
Yep.
When you're coming from the north or coming whatever, we're going heading east, coming down 96, so you can see it from that side, getting off 28. So that's the 4 side.
That's fine. Hey, man, if you want to make Cascade Las Vegas, why not?
Right, you come to, and then they put up like the
Right.
huge,
Right.
big signs.
Right.
We'll wait till they ask for a flashing sign.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Okay. No, I just thought it might be an opportunity for us to rein it back in a little bit, but that's fine. So I'm not gonna. Okay.
I mean, to me, I don't really like the idea of telling them they have to pull them down.
Yeah.
Personally,
You're a softie, that's why.
We put one in my garage.
All right. Does anybody else have any other deliberation? Anything else?
no.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll go ahead. All right, so I'll make a motion to recommend approval of case number 26-3912 for a PUD amendment to the approved site plan to allow for site improvements and additional signage at the fuel facility at 5100 28th Street Southeast for the following reasons. The amendment to the PUD ordinance satisfies the PUD standards of review approval outlined in section 16.03 of the Cascade Township zoning ordinance.
Would you change that to say the existing signage of no more than 4 signs? Not additional signage.
Yes,
Okay.
that makes sense to me.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
All right. Case number 253905, Harvest Health.
All right, so next up, we have a site plan review for Harvest Health at 6807 Cascade Road. With this, the applicant is proposing an exterior renovation of the existing building to go along with some other interior improvements. So the property is located on the north side of Cascade Road. It is an established retail site within the Thornapple Center PUD. The site plan remains largely the same in terms of footprint, with a remodel of the vestibule included. A dumpster enclosure is proposed, and to maintain consistency with the main building, it will feature wood slat fencing. The applicant is also proposing to screen the existing mechanical equipment to the west of the building. So looking at the floor plan, interior updates include new flooring and fixtures, while the roof will receive new asphalt shingles. One thing to note is that the applicant is adding a new parapet wall on two sides of the building. The intent of this design is to break up the long, uninterrupted building face that currently exists, mainly to provide some architectural variety with the design. Looking at the proposed elevations, the proposed materials include brick veneer, faux wood siding, and fiber cement lap siding. The Village Design Review Committee has reviewed these elevations and the proposed materials, and while the project does require some departures from Section 808 regarding the percentage of windows and specific material types, the VDRC did support these changes. Of the standards within Section 808, there are 6 standards that are not met with the plans. However, the Planning Commission, per the zoning ordinance, does have the authority to grant departures from these standards. The Village Design Review Committee has recommended that the Planning Commission grant a departure from all 6 of these standards that are not met, which include sections 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, and 12. Each of these departures are outlined in the staff report. So key considerations for this request. When considering it, Section 8.09 of the zoning ordinance does require the Planning Commission to consider the following: the impact the modification has on future and existing development, the benefit to the community the modification will have, and the public purpose to be served by permitting the modifications. Therefore, the Planning Commission should consider the requested departures as recommended by the Village Design Review Committee and look at whether the modifications align with these standards. The staff recommendation is for approval of the site plan and the requested departures at the recommendation of the Village Design Review Committee. A draft motion for this request is provided in the packet with 2 additional conditions requiring the applicant meet all standard requirements for site lighting and future signage permits. The applicant has provided the Planning Commission with some material samples that I will pass out here in a second. But with that, I will turn things back over. I know it was pretty quick, so if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Can you go back a couple of slides? Like 3? That one.
This one?
Right there. Perfect. Nope, one more.
Oh, this one?
Perfect.
Awesome.
Is it supposed to have that one gray spot there where the rest of it is what I would call a dark
Because they
gray?
have to break it up to make it look like separate. Yeah.
Is that something required?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I noticed,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just as from being on the design site review committee, there has been a lot of talk. Their initial design, I think they've done a lot of work in trying to get it to meet the standards. It's interesting because when you drive by, they actually currently have way more signage and way more stuff on the Cascade Road side of things. And this kind of streamlines it all to just the one logo sign. It actually cleans up a lot of the side, but also I wish we had pictures of your other locations, because there's a big piece of this too, that there's a lot of like branding where the colors, the logo, everything like that, they're just updating the store, which is way out of date. Meet the newer design and the newer branding that they have within their stores, but also really doing, the design review committee felt like doing a really good job of trying to update the site, make it fit more in with the village look, trying to break up the facade that faces Cascade Road, the west elevation, and just doing a really good job with it, and hearing a lot of the issues that have happened along the way and some of the reasons why they can't do certain things to meet the standards was really enlightening as well.
Okay.
Summarizing it,
No, that's good.
Currently right now, everything you see is just a facade. So those windows you think are real windows are not windows. So they can't open up the windows so you can see inside because they're not windows.
Yeah.
So just hearing all of the troubles that they've went through to try to get to this point was really good. And I think overall the design review committee thought this was a really good, for what the building currently is and what they have and what they're working with. This was probably the best they could without making them add another $1 million or $2 million into their remodel, which is not feasible.
Right.
And I'll pass out some of the sample materials that.
That's great. Does anybody have any other questions for staff while he's passing out the sample materials? Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Would the applicant like to come up and just name and address for the record, please?
Mitchell Knoll, 6807 Cascade Road.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I have our contractor here as well as our architect too. So if you guys have questions, we answer them to the best of our abilities.
Compared to some of the other locations, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's Eastern Avenue's been there since 57, so we give them a little bit of a break. And thank you. So
There's no changes to the parking lot, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're redoing.
yeah, it's all
But you're redoing it. But I mean,
we're
the
tearing whole
layout's
thing up.
generally.
Yeah.
It's the little things like that as part of this remodel that I think will really help make the space nicer. I mean, if you've been in the parking lot, it's not very nice.
Yeah,
so.
it's not ideal. And yeah, we have delivery trucks that come in there too, and it's thin asphalt, so it's just been destroyed over many of years. So
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
No?
So,
Yep.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Scott,
I mean,
go ahead.
Sure. Well, since Wendy mentioned that the design review committee, and maybe we just give deference to the design review committee. This seems like just like a ton of standards that we're asking for a departure on. So Wendy said, hey, well, the design review committee has heard a lot about why you just can't meet those standards. So I think it would be helpful for the commission to hear some of that in summary.
Yeah,
so,
anything you guys want. What number?
Do you have the list in front of you, Scott?
Yeah, I mean they're all so
Are they sprinkled throughout? Where are they?
they
Those
start
should be within
before
the table on the staff
they
report.
start with the one with the picture on it there of the
Table in the staff report. Okay. We can shout them out to you so that
Okay,
you can.
I know Ian has it here too, so we can.
Yeah, you're not going to put an entrance on the Cascade side of it, which we wouldn't. I mean, it might be used, but
There's the elevation goes from like 2
Yeah.
feet all the way to 10 feet. So
Yeah, and I think that was the one thing that I was kind of hung up on a little bit. And there's some things that can happen right now. It's kind of a fight, and this was our design review fight.
yeah.
Between right now, all of the parking lots behind there is no walkways. There is no way to get in and out. There is no way for pedestrians to walk through that. There's a lot of people that walk through there, but they walk right through the parking lots. So it's that like, okay, we make them put a walkway in to get into their store from the back, but none of the other stores have done it. Why put the burden on them at this time? This might be something that once the back parking lot maybe gets redone, where does have sidewalks or is more pedestrian friendly, then maybe we talk about how we could get a sidewalk from in front of their store around to the back.
And we said we were open to it too
Yeah.
for future communication with.
Because to the south, there's no room at all. They own the driveway entrance on the south, and there's no room on that side. So it would have to be on the north between them and the bank. And currently nobody walks back through that way, even though it's the only grassy way to get back through there. It's not like pedestrians currently are walking through there to get to their store. So we just felt like it was no reason to put that in when currently, if you were looking for a way to walk through there, that's the way you would go.
Yeah.
And people are not just walking through there to get back to their store. So we didn't feel it was something that they needed to put in at this time.
all right. Well, that's the front and the rear entrance.
Yep. So next,
Accessibility sidewalks and walkways, that one kind of goes into
Mhm.
that. At least 90% of the exterior finished material shall be limited to following, but we know that those are fake windows and stucco. That's okay.
And we didn't really want to, we didn't
Yeah.
want to paint the siding like everyone else did. So we figured, you know, tear all the plastic siding off and put up something that looks nice.
Yeah.
So they're putting up nicer siding that fits the standards. The window issue, they would prefer if they could have all open windows because, as you said,
We'd love it, but
you're a
we're a
health food
grocery store too, so we have
they
shelving
would,
everywhere.
yeah, and they would prefer to have open windows so they could see the sunlight as well, but they can't based on it's just a facade. They're not real windows. And they are actually opening up 5 windows on each
five
side
in the front, 5 in the back.
that they're actually going to go through the trouble and the financial burden of putting windows in. So when you drive through on the Cascade roadside and the backside, you will be able to see into the store to see lights to know that they're open and that it is more welcoming.
Let's see, what's that? No wall of no departure required.
Roof departure.
Each storefront must have transparent, non-reflective display windows.
That's the window.
Those are the
That's the
front. Primary colors of the building. I think the colors are okay. Facade roof. The roof shall not be designed to include a pitched roof shape. So they're not really redoing the roof. They're just shingling it, correct?
Yeah, and then we're just gonna add we're gonna like a parapet to the front. So basically you can see one of the triangles will just kind of be squared off on the front and the back,
Right.
just so it kind of designates the main entrance.
And part of that too, which the design review committee felt like it was a big positive change to the design. Currently it has, what are those vents called?
Yeah, louvers. Yeah,
They're
giant
huge.
circular.
They're like 5 foot.
Yeah.
8 or 9
yeah.
foot louvers on each peak that they currently have. And when they redo the roof, they're putting roof vents in. So they're going to be taking those out for ventilation. So the look of it actually looks better because you don't have those ugly.
Some birds might be upset, but
Don't get me going on the look because I'm not gonna say it. I hate that light gray, that break. I understand why we're doing it. I just don't think it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I know
that's
out
a Grace
of
thing.
that's out of me too. But
Yeah.
The reason is
I understand. I just got to break it up. I get it, but honestly, you know what I would love to see is get a local artist and let them paint a mural on that a couple of those sides. I think that would look good.
Stop.
Cascade.
Stop.
2 of my employees just came to me today and said, "Can we paint a whole mural on the inside?" And I'm like, "Well, where do you guys want it?" And they're like, "Oh, like a whole blank wall." And I said,
We don't have a blank wall.
"We don't have a blank wall." Like, well, we can find something. I'm like, "I love you guys, but I don't know if that's
You're like,
no,
if it's blank, we're putting something there.
Yeah, exactly.
See, dumpster shall be located in the rear yard.
Did you say dumpster?
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah.
And they're currently one is I'm just going
one's
my mind.
fenced in,
One's fenced in, one's not. They're fencing them both in.
Okay.
Same with the new utilities that are going, utility boxes that are going back there. They're going to fence those in to match the dumpsters.
Yep. We have to widen the sidewalks. That's where deliveries come backside. And that's where what was that? So we looked at possibly moving them to the other side. But basically, since we have 2 giant, like we measured out for aero waste to come through, and because of one of the islands, he can't come in and he can't come in and swing.
I get it.
So we hate where they're placed, but
It seems like it's a long way to walk.
it's the employees hate it. It's not ideal, but
Yeah, I will.
it's not the best spot for them, but it's really the only place they can be right now.
I mean, it's going to be a big improvement.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for Wendy? I mean, the applicant.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Did
You better be nice. I could be quiet and then you'd be here all night trying to streamline things. We already asked all these questions.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions for the applicant?
Did it add any space internally for you guys, or is it really?
It does not. No, we're going to add the vestibule. So basically, we're going to take the carts and put them out in the vestibule. So like a normal grocery store, you walk in, you have a heated vestibule, grab the cart, walk inside.
Right.
And currently, they're inside. So it's going to gain us maybe 500 square feet of actual retail space.
Because you own the whole building.
And we own the whole building. And at the end, it's just a chiropractor. He has, I think, a 3-year lease left with us. And is the building ideal for grocery? No, not at all, because it's long and skinny.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to work with. But if we could add more space,
Right.
we would. But at the end of the day, it's just you're better off just building a whole new building.
So your reasoning for doing this is just to make the building more beautiful?
Yeah.
You think you'll just get more people because
Yeah,
of that?
yeah. So we did it to our Hudsonville store, and after the first month, we had like a 15% increase in sales, and that maintained through the entire year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Good for
incredible.
15 or
15%.
1.5.
Yeah.
Buried the lead there, yeah.
Yeah, so we're really hoping this does the same thing for Cascade. And I love my in-laws dearly, but they didn't really put any money into the buildings for years. So when we bought them, my wife and I said, first thing we need to do is really update the entire interior, exterior, and make it look nice. And we have a new logo. We have kind of a whole new look we're kind of looking at. If you can Google our Howland store. We'd love to do something like that. Obviously we can't, but it's kind of similar to the
way
look we're
nicer.
trying to get at. Is just a more elevated look, because we compete with Costco, Whole Foods, and they have a lot of money. So we're just doing what we can to make it look nice and
Well, good for you.
keep up the times. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Put in some gas pumps?
Actually,
Would have to be ethanol though. Yeah.
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 But our signage, a quick question with our signage, we're actually eliminating we have technically 10 signs, and we're eliminating all the signs except for 2. But currently our PUD only allows 1 sign, and we're the only building that faces in our PUD that faces both Cascade Road and the parking lot. So that will be another question we'll have to probably come to you guys with, is if we eliminate all of our signs, we just want 2 of them.
Should we add that?
I was just gonna
So I don't know if you guys can add that to us and just say like,
If you're okay with that, we're okay.
yeah, we would love
Let's
to.
ask Brian.
With it being a PUD and it's in the PUD language, we would likely want to go through the PUD ordinance amendment process, so that it would have to be a separate process than tonight, since this is just a site plan review.
Okay.
But I mean, it would be appropriate to provide any feedback before they go through that process as well.
I think you
so.
heard the feedback. I think we're okay with it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I figured, less
You're
signs.
just putting them front and back,
It's
right?
literally just gonna be
Saying-
2 signs front and back, and currently we have them like across
And that makes sense
all
to
our
me.
whole building, and we're just clean up the look a little
Yeah.
bit. So
I'm okay with that. I don't
Okay.
know if the rest of you guys are.
I'm totally good with it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for the
No.
applicant?
No.
Okay. Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys. No, appreciate it.
Love your commercials.
Oh yeah, thank you. All right, so let's have a little conversation just so he can hear too. Any feedback public have?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
there's
no
no
public,
public
no
hearing. There's no public hearing.
So for me personally, this is the first time I've been in this role, right? So I'm not really sure what kind of historic deference there is to the review committee. They've been through it in a lot more detail. I'm also very conscious of the fact that there are limitations with existing buildings, right? So it is hard to impose all these standards. But at the same time, I'm kind of left with the question, like, well, there are all these standards, right? I mean, we have these 17 or so standards that are designed to promote like a long-term vision. And the idea is that if you address these gradually over time, eventually the character of the neighborhood is going to change to meet this vision. If what happens is everybody shows up when they're redesigning and says, well, I can't do that because it's going to be expensive, the division's never going to be met. And so if the standard really is, this is going to look a lot better than what it is, great. But that's not what the standard says. I mean, I don't think that's the purpose of going to the committee. The committee is supposed to address these standards. And if the committee says, well, we want exceptions for 7 out of 17, and another one is really just kind of a circular logic that says that if you give an exception here, this one doesn't require an exception. So it's really 8 out of 17 exceptions to the standard. I don't know. I mean, that's, like I said, there's no doubt it's an improvement, and I like the business here. I want to have the business here. I'd love to have it look better. I'm just struggling with, what do I make with these design standards? And what I'm seeing here is that they're practically meaningless.
Well, and I think that you're only seeing, I guess, the standards they didn't meet. But if you saw how many they currently don't meet, it's most of them. So I think to go from, not meeting the majority of them to only not meeting 7 to 8 of them in the cost of this, which I think you said is 1.7 or 1.5 million dollars that they're putting in. The majority of that is on the exterior of their building. They're a good business within the community. And I think that that is overall what the design review committee looks at is like, okay, they're not meeting any. They're coming to us. They can't raise their building and start over fresh, which is really what they would prefer and we would prefer.
Sure they would, yeah.
But
for 1.5 million.
yeah. If they could do that for that, they would, but they can't, and they're willing to put this much money into it. What is the design review committee? Are we looking at to see, okay, based on what they have, hearing the drawbacks between them and their builder and their architect, were those obstacles that they couldn't get to meet those? And how much, we didn't get an estimate on how much it would cost to meet all of them, but it would be unfathomable compared to, they would really have to tear down their building and start over. So that is the answer to that. That's what the design review committee looks at. It's not like we're just saying, you know what, just keep not meeting standards. We're looking at like, okay, they're not meeting any now. They're willing to come forward and meet a whole bunch more, take down some signs, make it look a lot better. Instead of being 0% at the design that the village wants to have, they're up to closer to 70 to 80% of what the village design wants to be. We're willing to recommend that we get to this point.
I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm asking a question. Are there any of these 17 that you would like them to are there any of them that like you'd really like to see them hit? I know you want to see them hit them, all of them, but is there like one or two that are really?
No, and honestly, this is not, again, I don't have personal strong feelings about these. I'm left with, well, there are these standards because someone has decided that these are what we're trying to move towards. These are the aspects that are important to redesigning this community, including, these sidewalks, walkability and stuff. This is a building that is right on Cascade, which is the heart of the village district, and saying, we want it to be more walkable. We want people to walk on these sidewalks, but they're going to have to walk on a sidewalk and all the way around into a parking lot. They can't really see the entrance to the building from what we're saying we want it to be walkable. Again, to me, it's like, that's maybe it's like a practical, maybe it's an unrealistic aspiration, perhaps, but it is part of the standards that we have before us. And so, to me, that's like some of the biggest stuff. There are these just, the kind of the almost like the look and feel design aspects. Those undoubtedly are like being improved. Mm-hmm. So,
I would like to see I'd just like to see a sidewalk, right? And corner.
It seems,
but that's an added expense and it's not fair to have.
We did look at it, and we walked out there and how could we do it? Because there is 3 feet of elevation, so we're gonna have to side cut, and it actually goes in between 2 of our giant United Banks consumers power box and our power box.
Yeah.
So cuts right in between them. So after our conversation, we're hey, if we have to do this, let's start talking now. Mm-hmm. And then looking at it in depth, we were this might be a lot more difficult than we thought.
Right, and that's good to hear, because it's hard for me to be on one committee and be fighting for something and then be a part of that committee that came to a consensus. Maybe I was outvoted with the sidewalk and then come here and represent that committee. So it's good to hear that, because we did have a long cut, because I was adamant about it as well. I just felt like this is part of it. And there were some ideas thrown around afterwards as well. I don't know if they would ever work. So that's where they're willing to talk about it in the future. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Let me get Robert in here. I'm sorry, I don't know if your hand was up and I didn't see it, so let me just get him in.
Being rather new, I'm just gonna go back a little bit and then you guys can help me out. We don't have a zoning, as of right now. So where does this actually fall? And the reason why I'm asking, my first meeting was when we approved another business right down the street with their remodel. And then all of a sudden, well, we don't have our ordinance, we can't approve it. So he had to go back and put it on hold. How are we doing this if we don't really have?
I think this is based on a lot of this is based on the old design. We've talked about the new design, but I think that my understanding, which Andrea is not here, is that the points are based on a mix of between what is legal right now with our old zoning and what the requirements.
These review standards within section 808 are all in the current zone.
Current.
Okay, then how does that, the only reason why I'm asking, and then tell me if I'm out of line on it, I have no problem, but we approved another business for the same reason of remodel, and
But
we
no.
pulled it out
No.
because of the zoning ordinance.
No, so he's saying the current, meaning what is in effect right now, which is not the newest
Right, but
approved.
it's not approved yet.
No,
No.
that's not what he's saying. He's saying the current, not the newest that's been
Current,
approved.
think of
that's in
is
Lumber.
old.
Yeah, the old PUD ordinances, we're trying to pass new ones.
Yeah, so like
This
for
is
instance,
based on the old PUD ordinances. The international beverage was based on the new
so
PUD
for,
ordinances.
yeah,
So that's why he can't go forward because
and to give you an example, they would love to build out to the street, which is what is in limbo right now with international beverage.
yeah.
This is not part of that. This is part of the old. So that's why that one's in
Well,
limbo.
that's why
This
I was
one's not.
asking, just as the confusion, because, I mean, I'm all
No,
for
and we're gonna
building, and my
we're
wife
gonna
goes
see
there
a
all the time.
no, and we're gonna see a lot of this because currently the current
Yeah.
zoning, people are gonna be trying to push stuff through the best they can under that zoning because they don't want to meet the new requirements.
No, we're not gonna get bit by the other person that we had to put him on hold. after
No,
we-
he's good.
That's-
He's
that's
really
different.
he's
It's-
super. Yeah,
and it's
he's willing to
different.
work
That's
with us.
the new versus the current.
Yeah, because
old,
that's my
whatever you
concern.
wanna
Also,
He-
hey, you approved that, but
he
you didn't
won't-
approve it.
No,
He's
it's
not
different.
that. If he is, he's bamboozled me because he's
And
not
it's
like
no,
that.
and it's different.
Yeah.
That was approved based on future. This is approved based on current.
And we were confused with Andrea a little bit because she would say, hey, you got to follow this PUD. And then she's like, oh, we have to follow this. And then Austin was like, we need to follow this 808. And we were just,
We're confused too.
Yeah,
Our
there was a
township
lot of-
board needs to.
There's nothing we can do. There was a lot of yeah. Excuse me, Alan.
No, I just
What-
said our
no.
township board needs to make a
To
decision.
do what? The township board
Like
did make a
pass
decision.
it. So
It did.
what's
It did.
So
It's-
what?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later when
Okay.
we talk about something else. It was passed.
Okay.
So don't turn this around to be about the board. This is about something else.
Did the board not delay it?
No, it's
No,
been
it went
approved.
through, but it may end up
You
being-
missed private session last week, and I'm not rehashing something that we discussed in private session last week publicly. So I'm sorry that you weren't there, but this was all discussed during private session 2 weeks ago. So we are talking about your current proposal in front of us that is based on our old current zoning because our new zoning is on hold being adopted.
So it's not gonna come back in budgets.
No, because international was approved based on the new zoning.
So, yeah,
Anything?
no, I mean, I feel like I'll just keep saying the same thing. So, if I was going to highlight things that I see as an opportunity, maybe they've been looked at, right, would be some way to tie this in to the sidewalk and some way to make the entryway seem more visible or accessible from the street. I get it. On the side of the building there, you've got like your mechanicals and stuff, like, and here in your packet, we've got this really nice picture where, the entryway is on two sides of the building, really, where, in my mind, you'd think like, oh gosh, even if you could incorporate that here, traffic would see it, the sidewalk would see it.
and that's what we're trying to do with the windows in the back is just try to
Open it up.
feel like we're open.
Yep. No, So I understand.
It's a tough building.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to pass. This is just a review, right?
You would still approve it as a
Approve
site
the
plan
site
review.
plan.
All right.
I'll make a motion to that case in number 253905, the site plan review for 6807 Cascade Road. Following provisions: departure from the requirements of the following subsections of section 808, sections 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, and 12. The applicant meet the sign requirements of Thornapple Center PUD ordinance, which you will have to come back to us to get that changed. Because just as a note, which we said we would note, that they are removing many signs from the building. Lighting levels meet the requirements of chapter 19 of the zoning ordinance.
Support. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thanks.
You guys appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Case number 26-3917. Cascade Township.
You want me to take the wheel? This? All right, great. For those who don't know me, I'm Laura Genovich. I'm an attorney with Foster Swift, the township's law firm. And often you'll see my partner, Leslie Abdu at these. She's really pregnant, so you might see me more often in the next few months as well. But I've been asked to address what's on your agenda, and I think it was noticed a couple of items, but as I understand, we're focusing just on the moratorium text amendment, correct? Looking at staff and they're looking at me back, not necessarily affirming what I'm saying, but we'll go with that. Because I think there was a subcommittee formed, is that right, Wendy, on the possible regulations for data centers? Is there a committee?
There is, but to
Yeah.
my knowledge, they have not met yet.
Understood. That's what my understanding was, is that we're not having a broad discussion tonight on what data
No.
center regulations would look at, correct?
And just a little background to what we are proposing here, we being the township, the township board has already executed their police powers and approved this. But due to obvious, I can't think of the word.
You want me to jump in?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I'll start at the beginning a little bit with what a moratorium is. So we're talking about moratoriums, and this has come up because of data centers, but what's before you, what we're talking about is not just about data centers. So we've seen a lot of different emerging land uses in the last few years, from wind energy, solar energy, battery storage. Now it's data centers. Next is probably going to be carbon sequestration or storing CO2 gases underground. Technology is moving quickly, and as you know, it can take a lot to update a zoning ordinance to address all of these land uses. So one thing that the law allows the township to do is adopt a moratorium or a temporary pause on approvals to allow time for study and review and amendments to address that land use. So the case law has been coming fast and furious over the last few years about the way you should do that most legally defensibly. And while there's kind of case law on both sides, generally they say the township can't just make a motion to impose a moratorium. It needs to be done. In some cases, it's been done by resolution, but there's some cases that say you can't just go out and do a resolution, that it should be an ordinance. So typically we look at doing an ordinance. Then we talk about what kind of ordinance. So we know there's two basic kinds of ordinances: the police power, which you guys don't have to deal with, and the zoning ordinance and the amendments to it, which is what the Planning Commission recommends up. What the Cascade Township Board has done with respect to data centers is adopt an ordinance under its police powers to place a moratorium on the approvals of any data centers to allow time for regulations to be considered and adopted in the zoning ordinance. What we're also looking at is a small structural change to the zoning ordinance that would make moratoriums easier on a forward-going basis. Because as I said, the land uses are changing quickly, and this is something we're looking at with a lot of our municipal clients. So what this text amendment would do would amend the zoning ordinance to say, If there's an emerging land use, the township board has the authority to impose a moratorium by resolution, either on its own or on the recommendation of the planning commission. That's different than the township board just going off and doing a resolution without having that authority in the zoning ordinance. So it's giving it that legal support to say our zoning ordinance authorizes that to happen. Because sometimes it'll be a brand new land use. What we're seeing with data centers is certainly not a land use we were talking about 5 years ago. Or it could be something where the land use has dramatically changed. So your zoning ordinance might deal with it, but really didn't contemplate how it's being done. And in that case, what you're doing in a way is suspending that part of your zoning ordinance, which is why we want the zoning ordinance to give the authority to do a moratorium more easily. And a resolution is easier, especially for a charter township to adopt, than an ordinance. So that is a very lengthy explanation, hopefully not too confusing, but I'm happy to break it down further to say what you're being asked to look at, have a public hearing on, and recommend is a mechanism that will allow the township to be a little more agile and flexible when land uses come up in the future, to be able to push a pause button with facts, with findings, and the ordinance sets that out, so that there is time to put regulations in place. So I'll pause there for questions.
So talk to me about the mechanism. Is all the board members vote and has to pass, and then they have 60 days, or do they set the time length? Talk to me, because there's not a ton of detail here.
And it's not going to say specifically you have to find XYZ, but that you have to make the findings. And I just, in all my tabs open, lost the one with the language of this, so bear with me.
But does the board, so they would make a motion to do
a resolution,
and then they all have to vote, and the vote has to pass. But
of course,
when they vote, is it, hey, you have 60 days, or do they put the time limit on it?
They put the time on it. It cannot exceed 12 months.
And then
So-
it can be a hold after that, right?
Correct. And then you can extend it by an additional extension of 6 months and just publish notice of that.
But
And
it could be up to 12. and not
Correct.
exceed. Okay.
So it might take, as I said, it takes usually more than 60 days to regulate a new land use. So it gives you some breathing room. But let's say the board says we'll do a 12-month moratorium on this, and it only takes 6 months to amend the zoning ordinance. Then the moratorium would no longer be in effect once those amendments take effect.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
And this is specific to data mining.
No, it's
No.
for anything. It's the mechanism for them to create.
Maybe
Like,
we
it
could-
could be
That would,
pig farming.
Yep,
Could be anything.
there's already a police power moratorium on data centers.
Maybe could someone
sorry.
pull up the proposed ordinance?
Yeah.
I've got it.
96.
Yeah, page 96 of the packet. I've got it now.
So this gives the
I saw that.
township the mechanism to create a moratorium
Okay.
for anything that they decide.
Yeah, and it's
Any-
and it's specific to emerging land uses, whether existing or new. Not just it's designed to allow us to make sure the zoning ordinance addresses the land use and provides the protections that are needed for whatever that land use might be.
And just to clarify, I could be wrong, but we're asking for two things. For them to amend the zoning ordinance to regulate data mining facilities and data centers, and that would allow the township to implement short-term memorandum for existing and new emerging land uses.
So-
It's two things.
So my understanding, that's where when I looked at staff, was that we were just doing the text amendment part tonight.
I thought we were doing, and that's what this actually states, like,
So,
page is 95 out of 97.
oh, yep, 95. And
It
I'm-
actually says request action. There's not a semicolon, which I feel like there should be, but request to consider amendments to the township zoning ordinance that would regulate data mining facilities and data centers. My feeling should be a semicolon, and that would allow the township board to implement a short-term memorandum for existing and new
those are
emerging-
two totally different things.
So I said there should
And
be a
I thought there was,
semicolon.
those are different things, right? This does nothing with data center
No.
specific. And my understanding was there was a committee that's been appointed to discuss that before the planning commission does.
Okay, yes, that is true.
So it may not be, so
So-
yes, the planning commission absolutely will have to have
Mhm.
discussion on that. I don't think that's tonight, though.
Okay,
Considering those amendments, but then allowing the township board to implement. That's two different, yeah. I see.
consider amendments.
So
Okay.
what I would be looking, well,
Yes.
I'm not looking for anything.
was
What I would
confused.
see as an appropriate action is a motion to recommend that the township board, after you have the public hearing, which we still have to do here because it's an amendment, is for the township board to approve the ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance regarding moratoriums that is on 96 to 97 of your packet.
It's nothing to do with data centers.
Nothing to do with data centers specifically. Moratorium's already in place for data centers.
What about battery plants?
I don't know. You guys have, I can't remember where, we have a lot of townships with battery storage plant ordinances, and I don't remember where yours is at off the top of my head.
I'm just driving through,
Yeah.
I do it all the time, I'm just coming through, Kentucky, and there's a huge, battery plant that just, they put like billions of dollars.
Yeah. And so wind solar,
Was it
5,000 people and they're closed.
Was
They
it-
just closed.
Yeah.
by the Louisville?
wind, solar, and battery.
Unbelievable.
So
Wait.
this would include, because it says we could implement existing or new or emerging land.
Yeah,
uses,
if you
it-
don't already have battery storage regulations in your ordinance, then yes, you could use this for that. I just don't recall off the top of my head whether the township does or doesn't have those yet.
Yeah.
Would this moratorium only apply to, or the mechanism for the moratorium only apply to anything that comes to the board after we approve the mechanism? There's nothing they could go back to previous, applications, applicants, situations, and put a moratorium on.
Well, if something's already approved, it wouldn't be subject to a moratorium.
What if it's not approved? What if it was not approved and now there's legal action?
So this is specific again to emerging land uses that need to be regulated in your zoning ordinance. So if you have something that doesn't fall in that category,
What
That's
if it
not what
does fall
you're-
in that category?
I guess I'm not sure what that scenario would
Well,
look
let's
like.
just, think it would be a good example. Let's say the airport, for instance.
I'm not going to talk about the airport in public session.
So, I mean, is
No,
that something
That's
that
not,
could
I
be?
mean, I don't want to talk about the airport case because it is pending litigation, but that's not what this is about.
Okay.
This is about your data centers, your carbon sequestration, these land uses where we're talking about a land use, not a person, not an applicant, not a specific property, where across the board, if somebody comes in tomorrow and says, we want to do a carbon sequestration storage facility, is that regulated in your zoning? How could we possibly process that application? We need to have requirements for the zoning ordinance in that to adequately protect the public.
So I'm hearing you to say that it's related to new or emerging land uses, but as I read the first sentence, it says approvals for existing new or emerging land uses.
That's
Should
why
that
it's-
existing be removed based
So-
on what we're talking about?
You technically have the word data processing in your zoning ordinance, and it allows it in office district. So did that mean the same thing when that ordinance was written in the 70s? No. Could somebody say that's an existing land use? Yes. And that's why it's there.
Legalese.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Staff?
No.
You don't have any questions?
All right. Make a motion to go to public hearing.
Support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, open the public hearing.
Well, it's just me and Scott,
All right.
so I don't have to watch the clock and be scared.
No, just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Josh Jordan. I live at 5479 Whispering Timbers Drive, and I screw every time. First of all, I would like to let you know that I use the south entrance at Costco, 33rd Street. I hate 28th Street for a variety of reasons. Secondly, and the most serious thing is I want to commend Commissioner Cribbs on the correct pronunciation of Louisville. Being a graduate of the University of Louisville and having a son that lives there, I appreciate it. The rest of you, there will be a class after to let you know how to.
It's actually pronounced Louisville, but
Not all of us said it.
Oh, you hurt me. All right. So I teach at a local college and I have a PhD. So now I'm even more confused. So you're going to have to help me out. And if I say something stupid, just let me know because now I'm confused.
Okay.
Because I was based on my research and now you've said some things that have kind of confused me as well. So here's what I'll say and then you can all help me out. I'm asking this commission to send back the data center moratorium amendment back to the Board of Trustees with a recommendation for a hard cap of 12 months, no extensions and no intermittent windows. The current language of not to exceed 12 months or with an additional 6 months was drafted on the fly at the last township meeting. The language is vague or confusing at least, and it lacks the precision that you guys would normally expect and what Commissioner Kramer, what you were talking about earlier. The certain date would help out from 3 specific reasons. Operational tempo, a fixed 12-month timeline focuses the subcommittee led by Trustee Nordhook. It also turns this from a passive pause with an indeterminate date into a clear deliverable with a fixed report out date. 12 months is plenty of time to let the data center battles in our neighboring townships play out and to collect citizens' feedback and also the zoning ordinance thing that's going on. Legal standards. I hope I get this right. I'm so excited. Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, MCL 125-3404, uses a 1-mark benchmark for interim zoning. And by sticking to that 12-month cap, we can stay on some kind of legal high ground, but also not have the appearance that we're trying to keep data centers permanently out. It gives us flexibility. So, and then yes, more time. Okay, I did say that. And that was
Can I
it.
say something about the first thing you said?
do you have anything else to say?
No, I have
Okay.
like tons of
Okay.
questions, but I'm sure you guys do too.
Okay.
So I think the first part you were talking about is confusing the current moratorium that the police powers of the board has put into place.
Yeah.
That already has been set to be, I wasn't at that meeting, but I believe it's 6 months with an additional possibility of 6-month extension.
It was originally 12 and 12.
That was the proposed, but
Yep.
it was changed during the motion.
Yeah.
That is not part of what we're doing right now. As much as I would love to change that to 12
Okay.
months, we can't do that because it's already been established by the board. So we can't go back and recommend they change their police power ordinance or power memorandum that they've already done. If I would have been there,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
it would have been at 12 months.
And that's
but
me trying to
not-
understand.
No,
the process.
yep, they're
No,
just different.
but
It is
two different
confusing.
things.
They are 2 different things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So this one that the planning commission's talking about tonight is not about data centers. It's not specific to data centers.
Okay.
So the data center one's already in effect.
Okay. So what's the, okay.
This one's for future.
Yeah.
Or
Anything
any
future
other-
that comes down the pipe, and it allows them to create a moratorium on anything for up to 12 months with a 6-month extension.
So we can't change that language about shall not exceed 12 months to 12
So
months?
this is in here because this gives intentional flexibility because this could be applied in 10 different circumstances. And sometimes the board might find, hey, we just need a moratorium for 90 days. We're almost done with these zoning amendments. In another situation, they might need a full 12 months. So I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, or solar power, or
Yep.
whatever else.
Yep. This one is this
Yep.
is some new technology they haven't even come up with yet, and
Yes.
we need to regulate it. Yep. You got it.
We're being proactive.
I'm about
Yes.
to get a text message from Scott.
No, it's
I said I was
confusing.
gonna
It's
look silly.
confusing to us too. So
Okay.
Right.
Well, keep doing the great work
Thank
you
you.
guys are doing. If I'm the only one in the audience, I
no,
still
thank
love
you for coming.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
thank
Appreciate it. All right. Anybody on Zoom that wants to say anything? Okay. All right. Make a motion to close public hearing.
Support.
All those. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I don't know if I like the 12 months. I think if you don't put a shorter clock on it, I like doing a 6 month with a 6 month extension because, you know, I don't know. I know sometimes you need more time, but I don't want to drag it out. I mean, if it's, I don't know if I like having the 12 and the 6. I think that's too long. I think the citizens deserve a little more expeditious movement.
The citizens also deserve the research that might take 12 months to go through. So during that 12 months, it's just you can't do that. It's a step back to say, I would prefer the longer amount because it gives them more time if they create a subcommittee, which has happened in this instance. There is no way, and you can go through the timelines because Mike went through it at the board meeting, that if I say 6 months, you have to come back with something. We still have 30-day notification. We still have all these things. So the subcommittee that's created has to meet. They have to agree to some recommendations. They have to come here to the planning commission. They have to present those to the planning commission. We have to all agree on them. Then what happens?
Then we have to
Keep going.
notice a public hearing.
Yeah.
Then we have to go through that process.
So the whole point, and then it has to go to the board. So we already take out between 6 weeks to 30 or to 60 days, somewhere between 6 weeks to 60 days of 6 months, just once it's been done and decided to get it finalized pass. So that's why the 12 months is a good option. The board can always change it like they did this time. The board decided 6 months because apparently the subcommittee thinks they can get this decided in a couple months. They have yet to set a meeting date and have yet to meet, but they think they can get it set in a couple of months and present it here to this planning commission for us to agree upon and to recommend up to the board in the next
But
5 months because the time is ticking.
But by giving them 6 months with a 6 months extension, you have your 12 months.
Yeah.
I don't think 18. I think 18 months is too long. I think that if you can't get it, like, listen, we all have time constraints that are put on us at our jobs at work, right? You either get it done or get out.
Right.
Like,
the difference is, I understand what you're saying,
it's
but
12 months.
it is. But I think that during that 12 months, there could be a lot of things you're asking people that are a lot of times volunteer their time, because it could be people of the planning commission that are also put on those subcommittees. And some people on the planning commission have work responsibilities, so you can't meet.
Yep.
So that could push out the time frame even further, because it could take 30 days just to set your first meeting with everybody's schedule. And there's nothing bad happening in that extra time. All it is saying you can't happen right now.
Yeah. And then
you can't do the data centers, or you can't do this new thing. It's not like something where the residents are saying, we want this, we want a new park, or we want this. And we're saying, you know what, we got to wait 18 months.
Unless it's a resident that's bringing something forward.
So another perspective is
that wants to do something on their land.
That's true.
Covered, like Wormies, for instance, right?
Yeah, but this is.
And so now we're making a resident wait potentially 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's always going to be, it's always going to be case by case, and that's what the township board decides, is how long is reasonable in that specific case. The other perspective I've heard elsewhere is often if you're talking about data centers or battery storage or solar, things like that, you're talking about a land use that's going to be there for a very, very, very long time, and will take many years to construct. And in that context, 12 months or 18 months is not actually that much time.
I love the idea of efficiency, but my only concern would be putting Cascade at a disadvantage in considering something that we don't even know what it might be yet for some new technology. I just wouldn't want to see us disadvantaged, because I think that the people who would want it would use that. If we
could
limited.
say no, though, right?
Yeah.
We could say, listen, our 12 months is up and we don't feel comfortable moving forward with the data that we have. We're going to say no.
That's true.
Well, not necessarily.
Because if it's not there, they
yeah,
could say, then you didn't put any new zoning into place, so then I am allowed. So I'm going to do it.
Well, and I know if I go.
You're telling me in 6 months we can get new zoning put in?
No,
well,
but they can say if it's there.
You're going to open yourselves up to possible claims if you say we're going to do don't want to talk about data centers. So they say battery storage. And I say, well, at the end, we're just not going to allow them at all. There's some consequences to that. With battery storage, there's consequences under the state laws regarding PA 233 and how that's worked. For others, they might say it's exclusionary zoning if you're just going to prohibit the land use altogether. So it's not always as simple as saying, well, if we get to 12 months, we'll just tell them they can't have the land use.
What I'm saying is you get to 12 months, you're telling me 6 months is going to make the difference of change saying yes or no.
I'm not sure what you mean by saying yes or no.
I'm saying that we already know by the time we hit 12 months where we're leaning and what we want to do.
I think
so. An extra 6 months is like,
if I can offer a different,
and if we have that extra 6 months, I know everybody's busy. People are going to drag their feet. People are going to they're going to push things out. It's like,
but wait, it's not a yes or no question. And I think maybe that's an important point here. We're not talking about taking 6, 12, or 18 months to say yes or no to data centers or battery storage. It's putting regulations in place to regulate them when they go in or where they go in. So it's not saying we're doing this process to allow or not allow the land use. It's to amend the ordinance to provide regulations for them.
Well, in Alan's point, can you make it a case by case? Say, like, for example, the data centers, well, let's go 1 year, but if it's something else.
Yes.
That's what this,
yes.
that's
yes.
what this,
yes.
that's what this allows.
Yes.
That's what this
Yes.
allows, is for the board to decide
Correct.
the time they feel is necessary to do the work that is needed to come up with.
Yeah, this would say that when the board passes the resolution, they set the time.
Mhm.
Correct.
The time can't exceed 1 year,
Exactly.
but
with a 6 months extension.
Yeah.
Not to exceed 6 months extension.
Yep.
So at the worst case, it could be 18 months. At the best case, it could be 2 months, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not a hill to die on, but I just like, we know what we want and what we don't want, right? And I just think we should be able to accomplish it in 12 months, not 18.
I do agree with you.
And I think like I think we owe it to the citizenry to move expeditiously, right? That's all. And I think, most people, if given 18 months to finish a project, they're going to take 18 months, right? People give 12 months to finish a project, you're going to get it done. You're going to find a way to get it done in 12, right? I mean, that's the expectation. I don't know.
Well, if you had 12 months, you're not sure you're going to get a 6 months extension, right? That's not a done deal. It's going to be extended 6 months. So I would still be, if it was me, I'd still be pushing to get it done in 12 months. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but they won't. Because they know they've got that extra 6 months. We'll just extend an extra 6 months, right? And I don't know. It's not a hill to die on. I'm trying to speed things up, not slow them down, right? And not speed them up that we miss something, but yeah, I don't know. But if everybody else is go with the 12 and 6, I'm fine with it, I guess.
I mean, both of you guys, Robert and Alan, I think those are really valid points, right? I mean, everybody wants to get stuff done. To me, just the time frame doesn't bother me personally. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience in the inner workings of government, so maybe some of this just comes from like frustration with the timelines. I mean, in my world that I work in, this seems like just kind of normal, and the idea of having to commission studies or who knows what, and just the notice process and all that. I mean, it just doesn't seem that long to me. I don't have like big concern, like we're going to be blocking all kinds of stuff. And I don't know, being a roadblock to, I don't know what, personally.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, I mean, again, personally, and by the sound of the public, the longer that we take to make amendments to the township zoning ordinance, the happier our residents are, because they want to be involved, they want to be educated on it, and they want to have a say in it. So in what you're saying, if we're throwing things through at 6 months, then that's shoving, what's the quote? Shoving it down their throat. That's what people are saying. And I think that by allowing it to go out longer allows for that extra time. If it is something very controversial, to allow to have public hearings, to have public work sessions, to have public education centers and allow the public to come in and voice their opinions. This is about zoning ordinance changes. It's not about just little changes. These are things that the public want to be involved in. So it's not just the subcommittee coming up with recommendations. It's also educating our public, having them come in and have their say. I mean, look at Lowell. They can't even have a meeting about data centers for the last 6 months because they're outweighing the size of their buildings with capacity standards. So if you think that we're putting limits on it, that we're going to get something done like that in 12 months when we would have to hold multiple public sessions and multiple public education sessions in addition to the required public hearings, there's no way we could get it done. It just based on public alone, and it puts your board members in an ugly position because you're making us do stuff and put through things that we need to have public feedback in. And based on the current zoning proposals that passed the board that are now in limbo, the public in this community wants to have a say in it and they want to be involved. So it's not just about a subcommittee.
So then why isn't it 18 months with a 6-month extension?
Because we've drafted it to where the courts have said it's legal. You can't do a 5-year moratorium.
Okay.
We follow the case law.
Okay.
I know that things are kind of happening fast too, but I guess just I would think that this is going to be hard pressed to come up that often.
We can only hope.
I mean, on it, like how many new, like I know, like that. Well, we got technology and everything. New land uses coming. I know data center is a huge thing right now, but I just like in your experience, you've been here longer than me. I mean, you've never seen a moratorium, right? I mean, now we have one on this new issue. I don't know. This doesn't give me a lot of concern. To me, this is a practical mechanism, so they don't have to step in and use police power. It allows people to vote on it, I think, in a more kind of transparent and public way. So, I mean, I think it's an improvement. So,
I'm not looking at the corporation coming in to buy land to do a battery storage facility. I'm looking at a farmer that's got 100 acres and wants to do something different on his land, right? And this is his family's property, and they're about to go out of business, and so he's trying to save his property, and now he's going to do this, and now he's got to go through this big, long, out, drawn out process, right? So that's the side I'm looking at.
Right. And in that case, then the board can reduce it down to 6 months or whatever they deem appropriate. But I think that we have to look at worst case scenario.
And in those cases, anyway, I mean, if we're looking at a specific use that's come before us, I mean, we can table things for studies and more information right now anyway, right? On a case by case basis. Yeah. What this is just broader, so then like the guy next door can't come in and do the exact same thing, right? Like if in your example, 100-acre farmer, we put him on pause, and then next door.
I don't mind putting a company on pause, although I also don't mind speeding the process up to say, listen, you know what, we've done our research, we don't want this, or we're gonna put an ordinance in that prevents this.
Yeah,
right.
No, I understand.
But if you give somebody 18 months, guess what? The project's going to get done in 18 months. Mm-hmm. But if you give them 12 months, guess what? The project's going to get done in 12 months. Yep. Like we all know this. And so I don't know.
It's just,
and at this point, this is going to go whether we say we recommend it on a certain time frame or a different time frame, it's going to go to the board anyway, right? I mean, they're the ones who are going to decide.
12 or 6.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it shorter, but
it's designed for protection.
I get it.
And what is the conclusion? We're supposed to.
Does anybody else have any problems?
Be a motion to recommend approval to the board.
So is there a problem that the requested action is that correct? I got confused.
Yeah, so I would not use page 95 to make your motion, because originally I think that was perhaps before the data center committee thing came up.
Thank you.
So what would we use to make a motion?
So you make a motion to recommend approval.
All right, so I'll make a motion for case number 263917. Make a motion to approve the mechanism for imposing a temporary moratorium for any application, permits, rezoning, licensing, or approval for existing, new, or emerging land use in the township of Cascade. The initial moratorium shall not exceed 12 months with one additional extension of up to 6 months
Support.
allowed.
Support.
Is that
Yep, you're recommending approval of the ordinance that's in the packet.
yes?
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I was
Recommending of approval of the ordinance. Okay, I said that. Maybe not.
And Wendy supported.
Supported. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I thought I said recommend approval. Okay. Article 10, acknowledge visitors, those wishing to speak. Yeah, you can come on up.
No, just hi.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
Thank you guys did a lot of hard stuff tonight. I like hearing you guys really be delivered. It's awesome.
Article 11, other business. Anybody have any other business? Although we all agree, and although we're all friends, and although we all fight sometimes, we don't.
We're much more public with our.
Well, we don't make it easy. We make each other earn it. We make the applicants earn it too, right? So it's.
Oh yeah, that Harvest Health in Holland is awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right. Article 12, adjourn. you.